Kia ora everybody, and we are 2 weeks into the 2019 Super Rugby competition. So far, early in the stage, we've seen some awesome games, some outstanding players, and some great tries. So let's get into recapping week 2. First game of the week saw the Highlanders host the Reds in Dunedin on Friday night. First outing of the Reds, and a lot of people had ranked the Reds to be finishing near the bottom at the end of this year. So it's going to be interesting to see what they would look like on their first outing. And look, they surprised most of us, including me myself. They put up a great effort against the Highlanders. The Landers ended up winning 36-31. They scored about 6 tries. Rob Thompson got 1, Ben Smith got 1, Dylan Hunt got 1, and Shannon Frizzell got 2. So the 5 tries for them. Yet again, Josh Ioane, great with the tee, getting 5 from 6 kicks and posting a solid 36 points. Dylan Hunt scored in the last sort of 7 minutes to seal the win again, stealing it from the Reds. The Reds themselves put up 4 tries, and Bryce Hegarty, their fullback, 5 from 5 with the tee, was outstanding. The Reds forwards were really dominant, their scrums were awesome, and they were always going to be a very brutal team to come across. They were very hard hitting and always countering the Highlanders at the ruck. So credit to the Reds for definitely fronting up on Friday night and showing that they are a lot more than people give them credit for. Just a few of the stats. Look, Landers had 58% of possession compared to the Reds 42. They made 106 tackles and only missed 26, which isn't too bad. However, when you look at the Reds, they made 145 tackles and also only missed 26. So, better tackling from the Reds. Samu Kerevi had a really good game, 13 runs, 76 metres, and bet 5 defenders. And Isaac Rodder, another brutal game from the big Wallaby lock. Definitely one to keep an eye out for this year. Teoharangi Walden, I thought, had an awesome game. He had 14 runs for 53 metres, bet 4 defenders, and made most of his tackles. So, credit to him. And Shannon Frizzell, awesome game, 14 runs, 57 metres, and 11 from 11 tackles. So 3 tries in 2 weeks and 11 from 11 tackles. Great game for Shannon. So all in all, good win for the Landers. And look, Reds stepped up, and maybe they will be a bit of a wild card coming into finals time. Now I'm looking at the Crusaders and the Hurricanes, which was always going to be a bit of an interesting game down in Christchurch. So let's look at it. 38-22, 24-0 at halftime to the Satyrs. Scott Barrett got 2, Richie Mwanga got 2, Taufua and Bridge scored the other tries for the Satyrs. Mwanga 3 from 5 with the tee. Again, missed a couple, but look, still banged over 3. Hurricanes 22, Ben Lamb, good to see him back, scoring 2 tries. Wes Houston got 1 and Perenara got 1. Geordie Barrett, a rough night, getting 1 from 4 with the kicking tee. Bit unfortunate for old Geordie. He has been ripped on a little bit this week in social media, but no, I'm still a fan of him and he's still a great player, so haters can say what they want. Look, Crusaders first half absolutely dominated. One stat that emphasises this win is the Crusaders managed to get 15 offloads away, and most of those offloads resulted in tries, especially in that first half where they were just putting men into gaps everywhere. Manasa Mataele, I don't know if anyone saw, his amazing offload, didn't go into touch, put Richie Mwanga away, absolutely incredible. And the Hurricanes only managed to make 4 offloads, which, look, compared to that 15 and the tries that Crusaders scored, probably is a factor. Going forward, maybe offloading the ball more would result in more tries. The Hurricanes didn't have a bad game by any means. They were just completely outclassed in that first half, and that set the pace for the game. Crusaders had 52% of possession, so it was pretty even. But a couple of players I just want to shout out. Manasa Mataele, 8 runs for 86 metres and 4 clean breaks. Brilliant game to him. Scott Barrett had another amazing, very hard-hitting game. He was all over the paddock. He was dominant at line-out time. He scored 2 tries. Another great game from him. And then Ben Lamb, I was hoping to see a bit more of Ben Lamb this week, and I did. He made 10 runs and scored 2 tries as well. And Duplessis Kerevi, 13 from 13 tackles, absolute beast. So credit to those boys, but well done the Crusaders. They are looking like potential three-peat this year. On to the Sunwolves and the Waratahs. 31-30 to the Waratahs. A late escape there for the Tars. 3 tries to 4. Tars put on 4 tries. Bernard Foley, 2 from 4 with a tee. And Israel Folau dotting down for 2 of those tries. Honestly, the Sunwolves surprised me. I thought they were going to get blown away, but they fought. They stayed in the game for the whole way. Hayden Parker, another great game. 6 from 6 with the tee. His boot is unstoppable. Unfortunately, missed a drop goal right in front in the dying minutes of the game. Good players make mistakes, and that was just really unfortunate for him. He shouldn't keep his head down. He's a great player, and look, credit to the Sunwolves. They were all over the place. Just an interesting fact, though, that I did find out. So the Waratahs had 63% of possession overall, but the top 10 carriers in that whole game were all Waratahs. And then the 11th top carrier was Gerard van der Haver from the Sunwolves, who scored 10 runs for 140 metres, which is huge, and beat 6 defenders. But the top 10 carriers were all the Waratahs, so they are getting their ball out to a lot of players and using most of their 15 on the paddock, especially Israel Folau at back, who's doing most of the carrying. So, look, a dominant stat there. Maybe Sunwolves, look, they only had 37% of possession. If they can get more ball, man, they would have probably won that game. So, definitely, yes, they lost, but man, they should be happy with that result and go on forward to next week. Just a quick rundown of my beloved Chiefs going down in Canberra 54-17. It was a try fest for the Brumbies. They scored 8 tries. Kurandrani 2, Thomas Banks 1, Chance Penny 2, Lachlan McCarthy 1, Folau Fainga 1, and Josh Man Ray, the hooker, dotted down as well. Christian Lefano 5 from 6 with the tee. And the Chiefs only scored 2 tries to, sorry for my pronunciation, Ata Moakiola. Sorry about that. The Japanese winger, and Samasoni Takiaho, our reserve hooker. Mackenzie 3 from 4 with the tee. Look, there's not too much to say other than the Chiefs' defence was abysmal and very poor. And they had 82 carries throughout the whole game, the Chiefs, and only made 165 metres. That's just over 2 metres per carry. The Brumbies had 95 carries and had 463. So they doubled the Chiefs' metres per carry ratio, and that's what got them the win. You know, they made 15 clean breaks opposed to the Chiefs 2. They had 13 offloads opposed to the Chiefs 3. They made 83 tackles and only missed the 12, where the Chiefs made 81 tackles and missed 23. So, honestly, great game by the Brumbies. They only just lost to the Rebels last week, and they came out and they showed what they can do. Brilliant win for them getting it over the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have plenty to work on going into further weeks. Sharks 26, Blues 7. Look, interesting game when you look at the stats as well, and you see that the Blues had 66% of possession, and they dominated carries, defenders beaten, passes, and offloads. However, the Sharks did dominate the more metres, getting 87 more metres of far less carries. And Sharks only had 34% of possession, but still put on 4 tries to the Blues 1. It looked to be a bit of the Blues from the past, to be honest. They looked a bit slow, a bit lacklustre, and when they made mistakes, the Sharks pounced on them. So, credit to the Sharks for that. That was awesome. They are now top of the table with 10 points, 2 from 2. And honestly, I don't think there's going to be slowing down either. So look out for the Sharks in further weeks. Yep, Blues, tough loss last week, tough loss this week. Going to Argentina next week, anything can happen. So hopefully the Blues can turn around up. Congrats to the Sharks. The Stormers and the Lions are upset by many people's views this week. 19-17. Stormers scored the 1 try and had 4 from 5 at the tee. Lions scored 2 tries. Stormers had 52% of possession and honestly looked all but to lose that game until the 85th minute when Herschel Youngkeys from the back of the scrum went under the bars and scored. They got the conversion and the Stormers won 19-17. So big ups to the Stormers on getting that upset win over the Lions. And also, I know that South Africa teams are doing this superhero kit for home derbies, and I love that. But both teams in the first half were wearing red, and it was blatantly really confusing for fans and the ref and probably even the players themselves, which is why at half-time the Stormers had to change into their normal kit, which I've never seen before, but I felt a little bit amusing, and you know, it was the best choice to make the game easier to watch for the ref and fans. So just an interesting point there. Congratulations to the Stormers. Lions, though, couldn't close the game. And lastly, the Jaguares 27 over the Bulls 12. A Bulls team that after last week I thought were going to do really well in this competition. And look, it's only week 2, but you have to give credit to the Jaguares for keeping such a good Bulls team tryless. The 12 points were 4 penalties from Andre Pollard. They also missed 2. But the Jaguares scored 3 tries off 44% of possession and made 5 from 7 kicks. So 27-12. It was probably the one game that I actually didn't really get to see much of, so I can't make heaps of comments. But looking at the scoreboard and the stats, it was clear that it was actually a really close game up front, but the Jaguares dominated most of the figures. So that was a quick rundown of the week that's just been. Looking into next week, we have the Hurricanes and the Brumbies in Palmerston North, which will be a ripper. Rebels hosting the Highlanders in Melbourne, which I'm so looking forward to. Chiefs are hosting the Sunwolves. The Reds hosting the Crusaders, which will be an interesting game to watch. The Lions playing the Bulls over in Johannesburg will be a good one. Sharks Stormers, probably going to see the Sharks go 3 from 3. And the Jaguares and the Blues will be a very interesting watch Sunday morning. So, plenty of rugby next week. Can't wait. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week. Thank you.